currently working on a video the veteran viewers of our channel will appreciate. But while I am working on it, why don't we talk about what everyone is talking about? You're all stuck in your 9,000 people queues anyway, so it's not like you have anything better to do. By the way, if you are wondering why it takes 12 hours to get through 9,000 people, that's because there isn't 9,000 people in front of you. In reality, there is 320,000. Either way, at this point it is obvious that teamfight tactics will become something big. People are really excited about it, and for the right reasons. I myself can't get enough of that game mode. And because people are quite excited about the future of this game, they also started looking for more information and they started asking questions. And because the amount of questions was probably quite overwhelming, in the end Riot did a massive Q&A on the separate subreddit for teamfight tactics. There we got around 2,000 questions. And because I know how lazy my viewers are, after all you watch this channel because you are too lazy to read, I went through all the questions and I brought you about 20 of the most important ones. So without further ado, let's have a look at the questions. The first question is very important, because we know that Teamfight Tactics will get its own ranked ladder very soon after its release. This person asks, how will the ranked ladder work? I have never played the other auto chess games, so at least here I learned that, for example, Dota gives LP to the top 4 players each game. Thankfully, we got a really good answer from Sapmagic. First, ranked will be similar to how it works for Summoner's Rift, which means that we will get tiers and divisions. This makes sense because the League community is already used to a certain standard. However, TFT will not have promotion series. You simply climb up and down as it used to be from season 1 to 4, I believe. Also, you will be able to play with friends. You can invite up to 4 of your friends and queue together for gold and below, that is, if you have 4 friends, or up to 2 friends and queue together for platinum and above. So yes, if you don't have friends, you can use your parents. The way the system works is that you will win or lose LP for each person you place higher or lower than, based on your and their skill. So if you beat someone who's really bad, you will not gain a lot of LP. But if you somehow beat a really good player, you will climb a lot faster. So in the end, there is not a specific number of LP you can gain after each match. It all depends on who you are matched against. Of course, the idea of teaming up with your friends, or parents, does sound problematic. Since it is a free-for-all game, people might get really creative and they might try to abuse the system. So of course, we got a follow-up question on that. Here Sapmagic confirmed that they are aware of this. But because you can never choose your opponents, win trading, quote-unquote, in teamfight tactics is quite impossible. And even if you somehow manage to learn when you are going to face your friends, and those friends sell all their units so you can win, because remember, even if you put them on the bench, the game will automatically put them there. The more you beat your friends, the worse they will be, and the less LP you will gain. The only way to grief the system would be for you to stop playing, let your friend gain more LP while playing solo, and then play against you again and funnel that LP into you. But the issue is that you have no idea who you will be against each match. So again, it is impossible to even do anything like that. With that said, Riot did mention that if any of these issues actually go through, of course they will do whatever they can to prevent any future griefing. Next, we got a list of a lot of different questions, so let's go through them quickly. What is the reasoning behind the Hexa board? Of course, those of you who are like me may not realize that the Hexa board is not normal. The other auto chess games actually use normal chess boards. The main reason why Riot chose a Hexa board is because of clarity, and once you think about how champions attack, it makes sense. On a normal board, it is obvious that you can attack in front of you, behind you and to the sides, but diagonal attacks could be awkward. When something is diagonal, it seems to be further away, but even so, it would technically be in melee range. Hexa board gets rid of this problem. Since you can surround yourself with other units, you know exactly how far each champion is. How does targeting prioritization work? Apparently, the targeting actually varies from champion to champion, depending on what kind of champion it is and what traits they have. Some have more standard targeting, for example attack the closest champion, and if there are 2 there is a 50-50% chance to attack either of them, while others will pick targets relevant to them. For example, if an assassin jumps behind the enemy line, and there is a knight and a ranger, the assassin will try to go for the ranger. How many extra interface indications should we expect for clarity? What information would you like to show that is not obvious? The main things on the list is showing the damage done each round, which would be useful for deciding which one of your units is actually the carry, but they also want a better system for items. For example, there was a mention of showing item recipes, economy, which you can already see if you hover over the gold icon, and champion pool sizes and probabilities. When it comes to the probabilities, assuming they mean the chance to get a champion at each level, there is actually a pretty good sheet that shows you all the chances. Why was this game mode released on PBE instead of live as an early access VIP, like we have seen with other game modes that were iterated on? The short answer is that TFT is something better than a normal game mode. Other game modes like Nexus Blitz could be tested on live servers, because people knew that they were one of things that would be later put back into the oven. TFT is treated as a separate game, and so Riot really wants to focus on testing before it goes live. With a separate game, first impressions are really important. That's why TFT is already pretty decently fleshed out. Do you guys feel that by ripping off Dota, you guys are kind of returning to the roots of Riot Games? Of course, this is a funny stab at League of Legends, since, if you don't know, League of Legends actually copied Dota. And Dota was a custom mod of Warcraft 3, in the same way that TFT is a custom mod of League of Legends. The short answer is, of course, Riot is aware. They simply wanted to make this because they know it is a popular genre, and because a lot of their developers were already playing auto chess, they knew that people would like it. And throughout all the questions, they keep repeating that they are making this mod for us. They really want us to have fun with this, and you can absolutely tell that fun is the main focus. Any non-implemented mechanics that you wanted to include but did not work. There were a lot, and we didn't get any of them spoiled because they might return later. How is the RNG component of early items designed? How does it work? This is actually something Riot will change. A lot of people complain that during the first wave, person A can get a Jinsu sword, while person B gets nothing. So what Riot wants to do is that they want to guarantee items, but have the items themselves be random. That's where the randomness would come from. Not from the fact whether you even get an item, but from how powerful the item will be. Any long-term goals for this game mode? Here we learn that one of the big goals is to have a social community in this fun game while the game is still competitive. Thankfully, this is not that hard to achieve if you have a free-for-all game, since in a free-for-all game it is much harder to flame the others. Unless they build Draven, that thing is straight up broken. We can all agree that this is not putting the S into Riot Games, but comes pretty close to it. How do you feel about that? Here Riot pretty much agreed that to them, TFT is a game mode inside of League of Legends. And again, they are focused on making it a fun experience. To me, this confirms that Riot is probably still working on another game. That's why they never called TFT a new game, but a game mode. That's because the new game is still probably coming. What keyboard and mouse shortcuts can we expect? Honestly, I played like 15 games already, and I have not used a single keybind yet. This game is pretty awesomely optimized for using nothing but your mouse. So right now, Riot is actually looking for feedback. The next question is about having more options to see more details. For example, if you press Alt, maybe you can see the hexagons, or maybe you can see the star levels over your champions. Here CZECH confirms that they have discussed this. They might call it tactical mode, which would expand the UI to display more details. One thing we know we will probably get on the first day is an option to permanently see the hexes. Will League skins be usable in TFT? This is a big question, and most of you know that this is a question I really focused on in the last video about TFT. I always felt like the option to customize your armies would be amazing. One guy could have a full project team, and the other could have a full infernal team. But I totally missed one thing. CZECH revealed to me something we have talked about in previous Rift news, but I totally forgot about. If you remember from some of our really old Rift news episodes, and if my memory serves me correctly, it was the one where Elementalist Lux was released. We got a post where Riot explained how they have to optimize each skin. Basically, each skin has a limited amount of memory into which they have to fit. So for example, since Elementalist Lux is like 9 skins in one, they had to find a way to cramp all that data into a really small file. The reason why they are doing this is that if you have a limit for each skin, your memory won't get overloaded, which means that League will be playable even on low-end computers. The main reason why they can't use custom skins in TFT is because on Summoner's Rift you can only have up to 10 skins loaded at once. You can never have more than that. On TFT, if everyone uses their own skins, you would have 9 times the amount of champions times the memory. This would be unacceptable, because in the end the game would have to load in hundreds of skins. So even though I would really love to customize my own army, I now understand that not only would it be impractical, it would also be impossible. Only the really high-end computers would be able to deal with it. However, not all hopes are lost, because Riot came up with a clever way how to utilize the skins. And if you ask for my opinion, I am totally fine with this. Basically, one of the reasons why some champions already have skins in TFT while others don't, is because the skins help to sort them into their class and roles. For example, you may notice that there's Arclight Vayne. That's because Vayne is a ranger and she is noble. Now if you had her original skin, she wouldn't quite look noble. But the moment you use Arclight, that immediately looks way more noble. Now what this means is that Riot can use skins to have their own origins. One example they used here is that they could have a Star Guardian origin, but if they use the Star Guardian skins, for example Star Guardian Jinx, that wouldn't mean that Jinx on her own couldn't be added into the game. In a perfect world, they would like to have Star Guardian Jinx next to normal Jinx on the board, which I can totally see happening. If I could request one thing though, please use the Odyssey Jinx instead. The Odyssey team has a limited number of members, but we have a lot of Star Guardians, so if you really want to use a Jinx skin, please go for Odyssey. What's your plan for monetization in TFT? The short answer is that they want to monetize Little Legends, arena skins, and they want to make a paid version of the event pass that is already in the game. But all of this is still very early in development, so they are still looking for suggestions. And in the follow-up, someone made an amazing suggestion. After each round, the opposing Little Legend takes damage. So Riot could definitely add in some damage effects, but they could also have custom entrances when arriving through a portal. And in my opinion, the best one is changing the skin of your gold interests. Right now you have these golden monuments on the sides. We could totally have Gentleman Poros instead. How high is the possibility of getting this game on the live servers on the 25th? When will it be updated in global servers? As we know, the current plan is to release Teamfight Tactics for the patch 9.13. However, here we also learned that it will not launch like normal features, which means that they will slowly roll out to all regions as they get stable. So there won't be a global release for everyone. Will there be level or champion requirements to play TFT? Right now, TFT will be available from level 1, which makes sense because some people will download League solely for this game mode. Are you planning on having Poros as Little Legends? We don't have any current plans, but it makes sense that we would probably do this at some point. If you ask me, please have Poros as rewards. Poros are already really popular. So if you hand them out as rewards for challenges, people would appreciate them even more than if you just buy them from the store. Then comes my question. I basically wanted to know if they have any plans for expanding the rewards. Right now, the only rewards we get is by leveling your account in TFT. But getting rewards for nothing but simply playing the game doesn't feel that rewarding. So I thought it would be awesome to have special rewards for playing different playstyles. For example, if you buy 5000 knights, you will get a special knight icon. Or if you slay 5000 assassins, you will get a special Assassin Slayer emote, which you could flash on your opponent every time they build full assassin team. The answer I got is that these are cool ideas, and that they are excited to see what they can do with the missions since the game is free for all. And this is a crucial part. Because TFT is free for all, no one else but you gets punished for playing a certain style. In League of Legends, if you got a mission for playing Nunu, and you were a really bad Nunu, you would ruin the game for everyone. Again, because TFT is a free-for-all game, that can't happen here. So I didn't get an awesome answer, but at least I know they had a look at my feedback. Lamb deserves Wolf. Can you someday rethink decision about removing Wolf? Even with second form, I think Wolf's sprite would not be that big to consider him distracting. Here Riot August blew us away, because he will be adding Wolf for 9.14. The Wolf will fly out every time Kindred crits. Why do characters randomly just stop attacking sometimes? This might seem like a random question to you, but I am a nerd when it comes to technical answers, and Riot August delivered. Basically, there are two reasons why this happens. Both of them are bugs. Either they acquire a target they are unable to reach, and then they get stuck either until the target moves, so they can recalculate the range, or until the target dies. The second reason is when they think the target is in range, but it isn't, in which case the champion just stands there, trying to attack a target that is not within range. What is the strangest bug that came up in development? This is quite a hilarious one. At one point, Brand could create infinitely bouncing fireballs. This sounds ridiculous on its own, but the amazing part comes when it hits a dragon. Because dragons are immune to magic, that fireball would stick to the dragon. What's worse is that the fireball would transition between boards. So what would happen is that once the dragon was transferred into a different board, the fireball would start bouncing around, killing everything but the dragon again, but during a totally different match. The next question is about the board size. A lot of pro players have commented that the board size is pretty small. Apparently other auto chess games have much larger boards. In Riot's eyes, the board size is pretty okay right now, but they are ready to change this if the players still think it is too small. So right now, it might be just players being used to a different size. And the last question, is there any schedule you guys have for releasing more champions or more items into TFT? Here Riot August confirmed that they hope to release new champion or two as early as 9.14, which is the next patch after its release when the ranked seasons come to TFT. No promises though. Which means that Riot is already looking into releasing more champions. And that's the most interesting questions we had in the Q&A. As I said, TFT really looks promising. And I wouldn't be surprised if Teamfight Tactics eventually overtakes League of Legends itself. Right now, League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics are still the two top games on Twitch, which is an amazing achievement. Last time a company did this is when Blizzard had 4 games in the top 6. So this is actually quite impressive for Riot Games. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and let's just go back to our 12-hour queues. Hey, did you know that we have social media and Twitch where we talk about other league facts and stories? And did you know that we have neat mugs and shirts too? The links to all of that will be below. And as always, thank you, come again.